farming family, welcome to Alipat Farms. I always say there is money in the soil and you always need to get your hands dirty. Today I want us to have a talk on planting calendar, the magic planting calendar. This is the magic planting calendar. This calendar gives you a full detail on how and when and how to start your cropping to meet the peak demand season. If you know you have not yet subscribed to the channel, kindly go and subscribe, and also you can share this video. So let's begin without wasting much time. Let's begin with the cropping calendar. The cropping calendar begins the month of December. In the month of December, you just need to check on the next cropping. At the next cropping button, you can see January, April cropping, January, April production. So your land prepare, that's a demand peak. That's a demand peak. So your land preparation should begin on 26th of December. The land preparation should begin on 26th of December. After the land preparation on 26th of December, you move on to January 10th. From January 10th to 15th, you need to begin your seed sowed. You need to begin the seed sowed. That's the next production. You need to begin the seed sowed. So if you want to nurse your bell pepper, you need to nurse it around 10th to 15th. Bell pepper takes about a week after sowed for germination. Tomato takes about 5 days to 6 days for after seed sowed, and then the cabbage to the same thing as the tomatoes. So you have to take note of that. Quick germination also starts within the 4th day after seed sowed. So on the 15th to 20th, construction of ridges. On the 15th to 20th, construction of the ridges. On that same January, construction of the ridges. If it's a bell pepper, you can go in for your beds or ridges, tomatoes, ridges. But for cabbage, it's a tillage. That's dig in. So that's the demand peak seasoning, January to April. The activities you need to do on February. On 5th to 10th of February, you need to start with your transplanting. On the 5th to 10th of February, you need to start. So as said, on the 5th to 10th, transplant seedlings 3 to 4 weeks after nursery. So when it is a tomato, you have to transplant it on the 3rd week. If it is pepper or cabbage, you have to transplant it 4 weeks after nursery. Transplant early morning when the weather is humid of the day. So you have to do the transplanting early in the morning when you see that, or you observe that the weather is very humid of the day. Or you have to transplant in the evening. When you see the sun is getting set. So when it is getting the sunset, you start with your transplanting. Let's say around 3:30, 3:30 to 4. You can start with your transplanting. Okay. So you need to also avoid planting seedlings during hot hour of the day, which may burn young seedlings. You see, when you did your transplanting hot hour of the day, you end up losing all the seedlings that you have transplanted during that hour of the day. So you need to avoid that. You also need to check on your crop and spacing. Each crop has its spacing. So when you are dealing with tomato, you need to have 30 centimeters within the rows, but 60 centimeters apart. Note, you need to have 30 centimeters within the rows and 60 centimeters apart. Bell pepper also goes like that, 30 centimeters by 60 centimeters. Cabbage goes for 60 centimeters to 70 centimeters. Note the spacing. Fertilizer application. After you are done with your transplanting, you also need to observe your you need to start with your fertilizer application. So the fertilizer application begins from day 20th to 22nd. So on a week after transplanting, a week after transplanting, you need to start or begin your fertilizer application. The application method, you need to use starter solution method for your first fertilizer application. You need to mix the NPK with ammonia as needed, because cabbage is a nitrogenous plant. Tomatoes too also require nitrogen, and pepper too requires nitrogen, the phosphorus and the potassium as well. So for that, you need to box your NPK with the ammonia. You need to mix it together. So the dosage may happen to be 10 kg, that you can have 8 kg of the NPK, the NPK, and then you can have a 2 kg of the ammonia, or you can have a 6 kg of the NPK and a 4 kg of the ammonia. Okay, so you take note of that. For further inquiry, you can also contact me for further inquiries. So you note that. Then let's proceed to the month of March. In March, note, in March, your second fertilizer application needs to start in March. So on the 18th, apply the second fertilizer application in March 18th. Then you mix together the NPK with the ammonia or urea. Ammonia is, we box the NPK with ammonia because ammonia gives water to the plant, whilst urea extracts water from the plant. So urea is a gaseous nitrogen. So once you are applying the urea, then that means that there is a point of rainfall. The rainfall is within that section. So if there is a rainfall, then that means you need to go for your urea. But if you are not in, then you need to go in for the ammonia. Then on the 25th of the March, you need to begin your earthing up. On 25th of March, you need to begin with your earthing up. The earthing up is a situation, or is the act of topping up or healing soil around the plant to hold the stem base of the plant. So that's it. Then you also follow by controlling the weeds and apply the recommended insecticide and fungicide at the set time. So a week after your first fertilizer application, you can even start to monitor or by spraying a protective and preventive fungicide and insecticide to protect the plant from any diseases infestations. So the 18th fertilizer, the 25th the earthing up. Note. On the month of April, on April 10th, you need to apply the third fertilizer application. This place is not all that necessarily, because it's not necessary, because it is necessary and it is not necessary. The necessary aspect of it is that when the land has been reused, the land has been used for several times, or it has been used for cultivation before, then that means that you need to apply your third fertilizer application. But if the land is a virgin land, that means the land is very fertile, then you can choose not to apply your third fertilizer because the land is fertile. So you can choose not to apply your third fertilizer. But if not, then you need to also go in for your third fertilizer application, which is very necessary. Do not apply NPK with ammonia during the final application. So during the final application, you don't have to apply the ammonia at your final application. The reason is that during that time the plant has started fruiting. So if it is a tomatoes, if you give an ammonia, the nitrogen content will be so higher, because the ammonia contains 21% of nitrogen, whereby the NPK that you are using also contains nitrogen. So once you are at your final stage, you need to avoid the use of the ammonia, so that if it started fruiting like that, there won't be too much of water within the plant, which may lead to fruit rotting and others. So you need to avoid or limit the use of the ammonia during that time. The NPK can be mixed with urea for water extraction from the fruit. Or at that point in time, you can choose to mix it with the urea rather, so that it will extract water from the fruit. Protective and then preventive chemicals application also continue. You keep the farm weed free. That's very important. On the 30th of April, you need to observe some maturity during that time. From the 30th, you can observe some maturity. When you are cultivating a bell pepper, you can experience that the fruit is getting bigger and it is getting ready for transplanting. You can choose not to apply the third application only if the land is fertile. Take note of that. So this is the calendar for a January April production. January April production. January April production. Well, family, let's begin with the month of May to August production. That's episode 2 of the video, May to August production. This production month is very, very good. Last year I earned a lot of money from this month, which is a very great month, one of the great months I would love to, because it's a mid month where I earn a mid seasoning. So I actually love this production. Last year I earned a lot. In this month, next production is May to August. Land clearing begins on the 10th of May. You start your nursery, if bell pepper, on the 15th to 16th of bell pepper nursery, cabbage nursery 15th to 16th, and the tomato 31st to 5th of next month. That's June. So the land clearing begins on 10th. The 15th to 16th, you begin the nursery. If it's cabbage, you are doing cabbage, you start on 15th to 16th. If you are dealing with pepper, you go for 15th to 16th. But for tomatoes, 31st. Notice that. On June, you transplant your bell pepper and cabbage. If you are dealing with bell pepper, you transplant, and cabbage you transplant. So prepare the field for each crop. 16th to 17th transplanting, 15th to 17th transplanting. Note, follow the steps used in the first calendar. Follow the step used in the first production calendar. So on 20th to 22nd, first fertilizer application. On 20th to 22nd, first fertilizer application. That is for bell pepper and cabbage growers. But for tomatoes, transplant should be done on 27th. Transplant should be done on 27th for tomatoes. Transplant should be done on 27th for tomatoes. Then in the month of July, 2nd July, you begin with your second fertilizer application. So on the 16th to 17th, you begin the second application. You begin with the second fertilizer application. Then you follow by the protective and then the preventive chemicals. So you go in for your fungicide, your insecticide, and your foliar fertilizer. Repeat protective chemical 1 week or 2 weeks intervals according to the application intervals. Read the label before you apply. So on the first fertilizer application for tomatoes, that's on the 2nd of the July, should be first fertilizer application for the tomatoes. But on the 16th to the 17th should be a second fertilizer application for the bell pepper or the cabbage that you are doing. Note, on the 16th to 17th is for only pepper and cabbage, but on the 2nd of that month of July is for tomatoes. You apply the second fertilizer for tomatoes on the month of 25th of the July for the tomatoes, the second fertilizer application. In the month of August, 16th to 17th, apply the third fertilizer application. Note, apply only NPK to bell pepper and cabbage. On the 30th, you need to begin to observe some maturity of your pepper or your tomato, your cabbage. Observe some maturity. So on the 25th, apply the third fertilizer to the plant. That's for the tomatoes. So this is the episode for the May-August production. This is the episode for the May-August production. So you take note of that. You make sure that you like and subscribe to this video. If you know you have not yet subscribed to the channel, you subscribe and then you like. The episode 3 is going to talk about the August-November production, and the episode 2 will also talk about the December, January, February, March production. That is the highly peak demand. So stay connected. I'll drop the episode 3 and then episode 4 very soon. If you know you also need the cropping calendar, you can also contact me for your cropping calendar at available price. So you can contact or reach me out on 0240-277-651. I also offer consultancy services, farm supervision, and also deal with agro input and others. Thank you for watching. Never forget to subscribe. Never forget to like to this video. Keep subscribe. We have the best of all things for you. If anyone who has any question, you can also ask at the comment section. Drop your question at the comment section and I'll return to your question and give you the needed answers. Thank you very much, viewers. Welcome to Alipat Farms Farming Family. See you on the next episode.